Hello and welcome to the Behaviour Pod. I'm Samantha Delakia, the founder of SPD Tuition and Coaching and the creator of the Behaviour Balance System. What? You are here to talk all things behaviour, big humans and small. I am here with the gorgeous Emma, our TBB expert, to talk all about positive touch and the impact it has on our behaviour of our young minds, our growing humans. Because it's not just for the little ones, is it, Emma?
No, it's so yeah, as you said, my name's Emma Pfeiffer-Key and I'm a holistic therapist, which I specialize in Indian head massage and reflexology. So reflexology is what we're going to talk about today, which is effectively a massage of the hands or feet, then on your whole system, your whole body. So yes, we all have hands, we all have feet, irrelevant if you're a baby, through to palliative care. I treat and teach all ages these skills.
Yes, absolutely. So we have been sent over some questions from our Behaviour Bank members, which we are very excited to answer today. And for anyone who is wondering what the Behaviour Bank is, it is the only one-stop shop in the world where you can support your children and yourself from a full 360 approach, which we're very excited about, aren't we, Emma?
Very.
But the members have been thinking about positive touch and have been wondering about how they can best support a whole range of needs and a whole range of challenges that they're facing. So we're going to play a little game, Emma. Are you ready to play a game with me?
Sure, another game.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to play a little this or that sort of game as we go through this mini series. And each of our mini series, we're going to cover a different question. So for this mini series, we are going to lean in to the idea of touch or tell. What do you think, Emma? I think I know the answer to this for you. Are you a touch or a tell kind of gal?
Well, telling is very important, but no, my priority is touch. As I'm someone that performs and teaches a physical touch positive therapy, then there's so many benefits from actually having that physical touch. By doing a massage, so grabbing the child that you care for's hand or feet, you can then press on key points, which is going to support their nervous system. Think about the body as being made up of hose pipes of energy. So you've got nerves start in your hands, run up your arms, through your central nervous system up to your brain, which is sending messages, through your organs, your systems, and then comes out your feet. So by pressing on the ends of those nerves, you're going to have a physical reaction in the correlating part of the body. But in addition, you're going to support the body to release that love hormone, oxytocin. Now, we all love that love hormone.
I was going to say, we all love a bit of oxytocin. We all love a bit of the love hormone. So the question that we have been asked around this, Emma, is how to calm down a child when they are having a tantrum, or as I like to say, they are dysregulated. So when they are feeling dysregulated, when their emotions are, all in, how can we most lean into positive touch when it comes to calming down those situations and supporting our children through that dysregulation?
Yeah, so as I said, think about those hose pipes. So there are some key points on your hands and feet that when you press on them, it's going to help you feel as an individual, it's going to help you feel calmer. So it's really going to engage that parasympathetic nervous system, because when you are feeling angry or stressed, your sympathetic nervous system is engaged. That amygdala is kicked in, our reptilian brain, and we've gone into that fight or flight. We've gone into that state. The way I describe it, it's like that fizzy state. Your nervous energy, your sympathetic nervous system is fizzing away, and you want to make sure that you almost exactly, yeah, you take the body from that state into that parasympathetic nervous system. So there are some key points that you can either do on the child, on their hands and feet, or you can teach them to do it on themselves.
Yeah.
So there are different methods. One of the key points that I highly recommend using is the solar plexus point, which is right in the center of the hand.
And if you're watching this, I mean, if you're listening to this, you won't be able to.
I can describe it. I can describe. No, I can describe it.
I was going to say verbally. For those of you that are watching this, Emma, you can do a little demo on your hand now. And I have been practicing, guys, because Emma, as I said, she is one of our experts in the Behaviour Bank, so you can see her in action, doing all of these there. But I have been practicing. But go on, take us through it for those of us that are not able to watch you do it. Let's hear you explain it.
Yeah. So the solar plexus point is right in the center of your body. It's kind of it's your emotional core. It's described as, you say you feel it in the pit of your stomach, or you get that gut feeling, but it's also your physical core. So it's where the majority of your nerves are overlapping in your central nervous system. And from a reflex point on your hands, so I'll teach hands because then you can teach children how to do it on themselves, and then you're really giving them that autonomy as well. But if you hold your hand up and then just slightly bend your hand, a crease will appear across the palm of your hand. And then once you want to then find the center of that crease. So you're not right in the middle of your palm, you're slightly higher up near to the base of your fingers. But where that crease appears when you slightly bend your palm, you're going to then just hold that center point. And that's your solar plexus point on your hand. And the way that the map of reflexology works is your left hand and your left foot are relevant to all the left part of your body, and right hand, right foot, right part of the body. So any system or organ that sits in the center of your body will be reflected on both hands. So you've got the point on your left hand, then you want to make sure you're balanced. You want to find the point on your right hand as well.
And it feels so good. Even for us as grown-ups, like I find that I do this quite a few times a day. For those of you who don't know me and haven't kind of met me before, oh hi. I am a toddler mum as well as a great deal many other things, and I often find myself using this point here when I am navigating the many nuances in behaviour in my household, let alone my work, in schools and things. So this is such a lovely one, isn't it? And it feels so comfortable.
Well, that's it. And it's, that kind of leads me into that co-regulation piece as well. If our children that we're caring for, be it our own children or in the school setting or nursery setting, if they're in that fizzy state, it is very easy for us to get into that fizzy state as well, especially if it's your own children, like you are co-regulating with your own children. But we have to make sure that we're the adult, that we stay in that parasympathetic nervous system.
Which is not easy.
It is not easy. Of course it's not.
Not easy, this stuff.
Especially if you're depleted, if your resources are low, your resilience level is going to be low. So therefore you're going to be shorter to flip into that, that you can just feel the anger fizzing up in you, but you need to make sure that you stay cool, calm and collected, because otherwise you're just going to put fuel on the fire. So anything you can do, it's going to support your nervous system as well as theirs. So teaching your child how to do it themselves, but also doing it on yourself and just taking that break, walk out the room, take a deep breath, press on the solar plexus, get into that relaxed state. You can then better support them.
Yes. And I think, we talk about self-regulation because it's, one of those things that we hear spoken about, particularly in the education world. If you're a teacher or you're working with children, we hear self-regulation a lot because, it's one of the things that Ofsted look for. It's, it's out in the world far more than co-regulation. But co-regulation is that first step. It is the bit that comes before shared regulation, before self-regulation. I mean, I talk about this a lot. Self-regulation is everything we do to feel better, isn't it? Some of it is focused and honed in and polished self-regulation, and some of it is definitely not. And we get to see that in a whole host of different behaviours, which of course is our jam. It's what we want to talk about. But if we can co-regulate from a place of internal calm, internal coolness, through using positive touch on ourselves, that makes such a difference, doesn't it, Emma?
Oh, completely. No, it's so important, and it's something that it's easy to forget when you are in the heat of the moment. But just trying to remember, just engaging a little bit of that rational brain to be like, hang on, if I actually get myself in this state, I'm going to better support the little people that haven't necessarily learned all the tools yet to self-regulate. So
yeah, and this works on big people too. We're talking about kind of our younger children, but actually Emma and I were talking about this before we even jumped on here. This stuff works for all ages, all ages and stages. So even if you work with older young people, we work with secondary schools when we look at the behaviour balance system, and you can use this for all ages and stages of development. It's not just for early years. It's not just for those younger children. It is for every stage, isn't it, Emma?
Completely. I mean, we all have hands and feet. Like, that's the joy of it. You know, we all have this nervous system, this network of hose pipes running through our bodies. So just putting pressure on those points, just finding those key points, and also having that ownership to know it as well and understand it and have a bit of autonomy of looking after yourself too is so powerful, relevant of your age.
Absolutely. And the fact that they can do it on themselves as well is so important, because not only does it mean that they can feel empowered in the moment, that they have a tool in their toolbox, their toolkit that they can use, it also means that if you do have children who, you know, kind of shut down, or even children who go into fight mode, they have something readily available. It's not like you have to go elsewhere to get something. It's not, you know, it's completely, I was going to say it's to hand, Emma, but
Hey.
if I had a clap or a cheer music, I would be inserting it here. But it really is, isn't it? It's something that you can use anywhere and everywhere. It is literally to hand or to foot.
Very nice. I'm going to use that as my tagline on my business. Thank you.
I love that. Please do. Is there anything else, thinking about kind of keeping your cool as a grown up, but also supporting the children in bringing themselves, you know, down the scale, if you like, when it comes to those huge emotions that we feel? Is there anything else other than kind of the hand, the solar plexus? Am I saying that right?
Solar plexus, yeah.
Oh,
There's down the spine as well. You know, if you think about your spine, it's the whole of your nervous system. You've got your central nervous system working down the whole of your spine. So where the spine is located, it's actually down the inside of your foot. So you have 26 bones down the inside of your foot that correlate with the 26 bones of your spine. So all the way down, obviously you've got multiple bones in your coccyx and your sacrum, but they're fused together. So there are 26. And you can actually work down the inside of your foot and feel those bones. But on a child, if you simply just stroke down the inside of the foot, that's going to help alleviate. Oh, I had a
anyone up there.
I have random icons that come up on the screen. But on your hand as well, obviously a bit more accessible, and sometimes easier to teach on a hand. But a hand is down the inside. So if you hold up your hand, for those listening, hold up your hand and go on.
Not if you're driving.
No, don't do this if you're driving. Wait until you get home, and do not be in a moving vehicle while performing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So down the inside of your thumb.
Oh, yeah.
And you're coming all the way down the edge of your hand. So if you're on your left hand side, you're on the right hand side of your thumb, and you're coming all the way down the inside of your hand until you come round until the palm, and the same on the other side. So if you're holding up your right hand, you're starting off the left hand side of your thumb. I'm concentrating really hard to understand my left and right here. You can probably tell. And you're stroking the whole way down the inside of your hand. So down, and the same with the foot. So, you know, you start from the middle, the bit that sticks out on your big toe, and you're coming down the edge of the foot. I've got bunions, so you go over your bunion, trucking over your bunion, and go all the way down, and you're following the arch of your foot. So when babies are born, they have flat feet and their spines are flat, and as the curve of their spine develops, the arch of their foot develops as well. So that shows you how connected, how in sync our bodies are. Like, they are absolutely incredible. So for physically, you're supporting them physically, but also anything that gets you into that relaxed state is going to engage that parasympathetic nervous system that's going to then support them emotionally as well, which is then in turn going to support behavior.
Oh my goodness, it is crazy, isn't it? How, I mean, we always think about the mind and the body, and we'll come to this later in the series. We've got a section on this, but we always think of them as such separate entities, don't we? You know, when we think about a bit like behavior in the classroom, or, you know, at home, we always think about behavior as a standalone thing, a bit like the body and the mind, but actually it's all connected. You know, our bodies and our minds are connected. You know, we're not just brains on sticks. We are we are fully integrated, and behavior is absolutely fully integrated. It's part of a wider system, and it's so interesting when we start to make those links to our physical physiology and our physical development and our mind and our, you know, our mental kind of development in terms of what we explore and see in our creativity and all of that jazz. It really is just so interesting when we can track it back, you know.
Yeah, and if anything, you know, if anything is physically out of joint, say you've got a knee that's hurting, that is going to be having an impact on your emotional well-being, and then in turn on your behavior, because your fuse will be shorter because you're feeling depleted. So yeah, it's such a balanced system that if anything is slightly skewed, it's like a house of cards, isn't it? It all can come toppling down. So you just need to make sure that you're putting in those house cards, the foundation, and just building up and supporting that foundation, which is why what you do, you know, supporting children is so fundamental, because you're getting that solid foundation. As they grow, they can help build up on that.
This is it. And if we can teach this, I mean, you know, for anyone listening, I hope you know that we are very passionate about this. If you don't know by now, you will by the end of the podcast series is. But we definitely are. This is something that we are all very, very passionate about. And you know, we get the absolute privilege of sharing this stuff with our young people. I didn't know half of the stuff I know now, even as an educator, as a teacher, as a deputy head. I was not trained in emotional regulation. I was not trained in the psychology behind behavior. I wasn't trained in the physical connections when it comes to behavior and emotional regulation. You know, and I still don't know everything, shockingly enough. How dare I not? You know, which is why we've got these amazing experts. All of you are absolutely incredible you know, joining us in the Behaviour Bank. But it really is about that 360, and it really is about teaching children the skills that they then can use and build on as they go through life. Because if I always think, if I knew this stuff, right, Emma,
Yeah.
if only I known this back when. And of course, you know, the whole thing of learning through experience is always going to be the case. Children will always learn mostly through what they experience rather than what they're told. Human nature. But at least if they are aware of it, it's the first port of call.
Definitely. No, knowledge is power, for sure.
It is, but application is even better.
Yes.
I always like, I can't remember where I got. I would love to say that was from me. It totally wasn't. I think it was from Tony Robbins, but it was, you know, the idea that knowledge is power, but actually application is key. Because if you know everything in the world, you're none the wiser if you don't put it into actual practice. So
Very good.
I think it was from good old Tony. Thank you to him if it was. But whoever it was from, I always think, right, am I actually doing it? Because sometimes, I don't know about you, Emma, we know all this stuff, but we don't actually do it. You know, I still end up, you know, flipping my lid, metaphorically, even though I breathe this stuff, and you know, and then you have to remind yourself to do the repair work.
You're human. Like, you know, we're never going to get it right. Like, that's not being human. Like, it's the you know, fail, first attempt in learning.
Yes.
Like, every time you fail, you learn, you grow, and that is being human. You know, we're never going to get it right, and that's okay. And it's teaching our children that it's okay not to get it right. You know, when they're not able to self-regulate and they do flip, that's okay. Let's talk about it after. Let's work out a different mechanic that we could support, that we can do together, or they can do themselves, that's better supports them next time.
Yeah.
So
I love that. And I think we will pause here because there's so much more to share. But we're going to try and keep these episodes nice and short and sweet so that everyone can, you know, listen to it on the go and tap in and out where they need to. But thinking about a takeaway from today's podcast, from the Behaviour Pod in this session, what would it be? What would your takeaway be from today's chat?
I would say physical touch can be extremely powerful, because you're not only having that moment of connection, you're interrupting that sympathetic nervous system. You're giving that interruption, helping them get into a state of calm. And then you're also helping from a hormone releasing that oxytocin. So I'd say love, releasing that always lead with love.
Oh, I love it. Always lead with love. I like it. I like it. Okay, well, on that note, I will lead into the next session with love. Thank you so much for joining us today in the Behaviour Pod. Woohoo! This is the first of our mini episodes or our mini series. And you can find us. Where can they find us, Emma? They can find us in the
Behaviour
Bank. Woo, TBB, baby, where you can invest in the support for yourselves, save yourself time and energy whilst ensuring that your kids profit in the future. We will see you again soon, my friends. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.